And now, brought to you by popular demand, the Instapot Keto Cheesecake. I'm sure if you watch all my other videos that you're very familiar with the fact that when I make something, it is the easiest to understand. It is quick, fast, it's like understandable, it's the best. So the thing about this Keto Instapot Cheesecake is that you don't have to spend a lot of money. I went to Cub Food and I bought all Cub Food brand items. They're cheap, they're easy, and user-friendly. So let's do this. First thing we're going to do is make the crust for the bottom of the cheesecake. And normally I use a graham cracker crust, but that's not exactly keto friendly. So we're going to make it out of nuts. And I chose almonds. Here's a quick photo of 10 other nuts that you can use right now. That being said, let's check out the back of this bag. Total carbohydrates, 6 grams or 2%. That's not much at all. This is whole almonds. They're not salted. And this is 12 ounces. I'm going to just pour it in here. It's just a little over the 2-cup mark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour it into my little mini food processor, and I'm going to make that into ground almonds. There. That took me about 30 seconds to 45 seconds. So, alright, I measured out 2 cups of ground almonds and I put it in the bowl, and then there was 1 cup left over, so I put that back in the bag and I'll use that some other time. So it kind of looks like ground up graham crackers now, but it's not. It's keto friendly almonds. Next up I have butter, and this is just the regular cheap butter from Cub Foods. You can see carbohydrates 0. So I'm going to add 5 tablespoons of melted butter, and I'll give that a mix. See, it looks like nice wet sand. It almost kind of looks like granola. The reason I put 5 tablespoons of melted butter in there is because after I refrigerate it and I serve it, I want it to stay together when you use a fork and eat it. If you don't use enough butter, it's going to fall apart all over the table and the plate, and that's not any fun. Next, you're going to want to take a springform pan. This is a 6x3. It's Fat Daddy-O, and I bought it off Amazon. So I'm going to take the bottom out, and I'm going to wrap that in parchment paper real quick. Okay, all wrapped in parchment paper, so now I'm going to take my nut crust here and dump it in there. I like to take a drinking glass and just pat that all around the edges. And now I'm going to put that in the freezer for a little bit while I mix up the cheesecake batter. Next up, you need cream cheese. This is a 2-pack, so there's going to be 16 ounces. And let's check out the carb count here. Carbohydrates, 0%. Now I like to take it out of the foil and put it in the microwave for 1 minute so it's nice and easy to whip. Now we're going to add some sour cream. This is just regular fat sour cream. Let's check out the carbohydrate count. 1%. So I'm going to add 1 cup of sour cream. Now let's talk sugars. There's a lot of keto-friendly sugars on the market. You can just Google it and you'll see at least a half a dozen that you'll probably find at your local grocery store. Some of them are expensive and you have to order them online. Nobody really wants to do that. So this is the one I chose. It's cheap. It's just the regular Cub Food brand, stevia, sweetener, no calorie, measure cup to cup like sugar. Now that's why I bought it, because I don't want to do any fancy converting. I just want to measure cup per cup like you would normally. Total carbohydrates, 0%. Let's give that a shot. Tastes kind of like sugar, a little more bitter than sugar. Interesting. It tastes like diet sugar. So I'll add 2/3 cup of stevia sweetener. Now I'll add 2 beat up eggs, 0 grams of carbs there. 2 pinches of salt. Morton salt. Carbohydrates, 0%. Now we'll add some vanilla extract. This is 1 tablespoon, which is 1.6 grams of carbohydrates. Now I'll just take my whisk and I'm going to whisk that all up. Alright, after about 30 seconds of hand whisking, I have a nice smooth batter. And I pulled the springform pan out of the freezer here, so that's kind of nice and firm to the touch, which doesn't matter if it is or not because I'm going to put it in the fridge anyways when I'm all done cooking it. But anywho, so I'm going to pour this over the top of that. There we have it. Now it's ready to cook in the Instapot. So let's get that all set up. Okay, Instapot is plugged in, and the first thing we add always, 1 cup of water. Because what's going to happen is it's going to steam or pressure cook the cheesecake. So I have my cheesecake on a trivet. This is the Instapot 6-quart Duo, which comes with a trivet. So I'm going to pick that up now and just place that in the Instapot. We'll take our lid and we'll lock that in. And I'm going to take the seal and put that into lock position. Now let's come down here and program this together. Pressure cook. Keep warm off. And it is on normal. High pressure. Oh, and it's already set to 28 minutes, which is exactly what I wanted. So now it's on, and as soon as that warms up, it will pressure cook that for 28 minutes. There we have it. Now let the countdown begin. All done. Now don't break the seal. We're going to keep the seal in lock position and give that a 10-minute rest. Okay, after a 10-minute rest, I'll release the pressure. There's no pressure left over, so let's pop that out and check that out. Be careful, it could be a little bit hot. Just take that out and put it on the counter. Now some people, they cook this with tin foil over it so moisture doesn't get in there. I don't like wasting tin foil, and I like the way it cooks better when you don't cover it. So I just take a paper towel and I just lightly blot around the edge. I mean, there's really not much there, but you just blot what teeny little water's in the edge there. Takes you a whole whopping 15 seconds to clear that up. There we go, all done. Now we're gonna make the topping for the top of the cheesecake. So I have a 1/2 cup of that sour cream and 2 tablespoons of the stevia sweetener. Okay, so I'll take my whisk and I'll whisk that up real quick. And I'll just pour that right over the top of the cheesecake. And I'll just spread that around nice and neatly, starting in the middle and working to the edges. Okay, now we're going to want to put this in the refrigerator. And now comes the tough part. How long do you put it in the fridge for? So here's my rules, good, better, best. Good is 4 hours. If you want it to set more firm, 8 hours. Preferably best would be overnight. So there we go. Well, say you don't like all these keto-friendly sugars. Just out of curiosity, let's see how many grams of carbohydrates are going to be in 2/3 cup of sugar like we used in this recipe. Hey Google, how many grams of carbohydrates in 2/3 cup of sugar?
There are 133 grams of total carbohydrate in 0.67 cups of granulated sugar.
That's not too bad. But anyway, we'll stick to the rules for this recipe. All right. It's been in there overnight, and I want cheesecake, so bring it over here. Get the trivet out of the way. Get out your coffee cup. And I just realized when I made this, I did not put any spray pan on it, so we'll see how well it comes apart. Boom. Look at that. Instapot Keto Cheesecake. Let's get out the spatula.
That looks really good.
Yes, sir, it does. And we'll take that bottom off with the parchment paper on it. Set that aside. It does look good. And look at that crust. That is an almond crust. Almonds and butter, that's it. Nice
So
3 layers here with the
oh.
cheesecake, and then the cream cheese in the middle, and then the sour cream topping. That does look really good.
Yeah, so the crushed almonds mixed with butter, the cheesecake in the middle, and the topping on the top.
Let's cut a piece here. Now that set really well because it was in there overnight.
I recommend always letting your cheesecake set overnight.
And look at how nice the crust stays together. That's because I put the amount of butter that I put in there. It's one solid piece there. Doesn't that look good?
Yep.
So we'll get a plate out. Put that on there.
Here goes the Keto Instant Cheesecake. Cuts very nicely. That's very good.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Even with that like low carb keto sugar?
Yep.
Still tastes good?
Yep.
Now for my taste test. No sugar, no worse.
Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the almond crust? Ground up almonds. That's kind of my favorite part.
It's a good substitute because it's still delicious.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And did you tell that there's no regular sugar in it?
Mm-hmm.
Does it have any kind of funny taste or flavor? Is it a little tangy?
Tastes like yogurt.
Like yogurt?
Mm-hmm.
Like a yogurt cake?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, cool. Alright, here goes. This is my first taste test of the Instapot Keto Cheesecake. And we'll see what happens. It's actually really good. You know, the almond crust is really, really good. The cheesecake material, it's good. It's not overly sweet at all. It's not like the normal cheesecake, like the New York cheesecake that we make. And I can even taste the sour cream topping. It's good. I can taste that diet or the keto sugar in it. And it's a little tangy, but it's not bad. So if you want to make the keto cheesecake, here's your recipe for the Instapot. And if you don't have an Instapot, everyone wants to know how to bake it in the oven. Just Google bain-marie. That's the technique of baking it in the oven. You're going to have to wrap your container in tin foil and put it in like a roasting pan with some water in it, and you'll cook it in the oven like that. Just Google it and you'll find that. So anywho, I'm going to set a link. When you're done with your keto diet, try our regular Instapot New York cheesecake recipe, which I'll put on the bottom of the screen here. And if you want to try our other cheesecakes, I'll put those on the top. So we have a playlist. So thanks for watching. I hope I made it really simple and easy and encourage you to make this. Twin Cities Adventures out.